Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of the Infertile Diagnosis. I'm your host, Monica Cox, along with Sarah Clark, and we're here to support, inspire, and educate those who are all consumed with the label of infertility. We totally know how you're feeling. Both Sarah and I were diagnosed with a form of infertility before we hit our 30s. We let the fertility experts dictate our past and ignored what our bodies were trying to tell us for far too long. So here we are, helping you take control of your infertile diagnosis. This episode of the Infertile Diagnosis is brought to you by the Fertility Reconnect course, brought to you by me, Monica Cox from mymindfulme.com. Now, this course is the course that I would have died for during my infertility years. If you are dealing with unexplained infertility, or if you know you have an autoimmune issue, including thyroid issues, this is the course that's going to get really down to what is going on in your body. We're going to discover together what food you cannot eat and what food you can eat. We're going to work on our mental health, and we're going to work together to build new, long-lasting, healthy routines and habits. So head over to the website, mymindfulme.com, pre-register and get on the list to be one of the first in line. There's only 25 seats available on this course. We're going to have registration on December 1st for 2 weeks, and then the course actually starts on January 4th. So head over to the website for more information. And while you're there, you can become a Mindful Me member for free. And you can actually check out the course and have exclusive access before it goes live. So once again, head over to mymindfulme.com and check out the Fertility Reconnect course. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Infertile Diagnosis. We are on episode 14 already. Today, we are going to be talking about the 5 top tips to be successful when improving your diet for fertility. And this can be any diet, right? We are not pro one diet. We're all about just finding what works best for you. And that's probably what is the most frustrating thing about this fertility journey is there's so many freaking opinions out there, right?
That's right. All these different diets, and those diets have worked for someone. That's why they're talking about it, but it may not work for you.
Exactly. So we have 5 top tips, and let's get into the first one, meal planning, which is, I think, a little bit controversial sometimes because I feel the same way. Like, I'm in 2 minds about meal planning. I think, one, it's amazing because it helps you, look at your week, you can see what's happening, and then on the other side it's just like overwhelming and stressful and like I have to eat this way. What's your views on a meal plan?
Yeah, the meal plan, I personally don't meal plan. It's not my thing. It feels too rigid. I like to look in the fridge and go, I'll do whatever. But my thing for people is, please, when you look in the fridge, make sure there's food in there. So like I will rigidly always make sure I go grocery shopping, and I do not like grocery shopping at all. But I should get it delivered, but whatever, I haven't. But I will always go on a Sunday and make sure I get groceries, because I know that I'll feel fabulous when I open the fridge and I'm like, oh, I've got all my fresh vegetables in there. And I always have a loose idea about what I'm going to eat. So I usually open it up and I start making. There's never too much thought to it. And I try once a week to do like a new recipe. So
Once a
something,
week. Oh, see,
yeah,
that's my
I try.
oh, yeah.
It's not always perfect, but I'm like, so I don't get stuck in that rut. But the meal planning, I think if you're first getting into this and you haven't done a lot of home cooking, like I have meal plans in my book and my programs, all that stuff. I think it's very helpful, and people will sometimes rigidly follow along to those meal plans, and they love it because they know what to do. So if you're like someone who's like, tell me what to do, a meal plan is awesome. But if you're like, kind of looser and you're like, I just want to go in, and the first step to me is make sure you have food in the fridge.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I think about meal planning when you're first starting out, it's planning on focusing on what you can eat and having that in your house. And kind of like for me, I got rid of everything, all the boxes, all the cans. I was like, just out of sight, out of mind. I have to just, and like, I felt bad because I just threw it in the trash. I was like, I'm wasting food. But it was like, no, okay, you put into your house, you meal plan what you want to eat, or not what you can't eat, really focusing on, okay, what am I going to do this week to eat healthy? I would say when I did do a meal plan, because I've obviously experimented with loads of different things, I put into my meal plan making one new meal a week. And it
Nice.
totally threw me off my game. I couldn't fucking do
Oh
it. Like I
no.
was like stressed of like, okay, I don't, because I think when you get into swings of things, like we're all like creatures of habits, right? You go into a supermarket, you know exactly what aisles to go down, what you're doing. And so I already had like, okay, this clean, like healthy eating lifestyle, but I was like finding I was eating the same old thing, right? And I was like, there's so many amazing recipes out there, especially for AIP. I was like, I need to start exploring these. And not like, I do not recommend anyone starting off trying to make a new meal, because especially from scratch, like I think just sticking to the basics of like, if you're going to eat meat, cook a piece of meat, cook your vegetables, like make a
Yes.
salad, make it as basic as you can and as easy as you can. And then once you're kind of in the swing of thing, like for me, I don't even, still to this day, I'll make a new thing maybe once a month. It just throws me off my game. I'm just not that way. Some people, I see these people with these amazing cookbooks, and I'm like, how do you do it? Like like I get given cookbooks and I'm like, I don't use them. I don't use cookbooks. I just, it's not my thing.
Like I will usually go, oh wait, I have this in the house, and I'll Google the ingredients I have to make whatever I want to make. So if someone's and I'm usually doing something new if someone's coming over, or typically, as I say, I try to do it on a Saturday or Sunday. So I'm like, because I'm trying to not go out as much, and at least if I'm eating something different, then if it's a new recipe, then it just tastes awesome. But yeah, it is kind of, I tell that to people too. It's kind of like it doesn't need to be complicated. You can eat lean protein, like some veggies. If you want to have some grain, like obviously with AIP, no grains, but it's not it's not super complicated. But if you want to know some new recipes and you're ready to cook, then meal planning can be helpful, or you can just
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think you need to decide who you are before you start this, right? Like, know yourself. Because that's like a huge, like, you're going to set yourself up for success or failure. If you're like me and you need to be just basic, and then like I'm a pretty good cook, I rate myself, but I'm definitely not cooking up new things or even following recipes on a weekly basis. And I think that's just the important thing, because when you change your diet in the first place, it's stressful anyways, right? You're mentally, you going to have some freakouts that the norm is not there. um, so yeah, and I think we both have meal plans for free up on our websites, and I know in your book you have a great 2-week meal plan. And I think, like you say, and that's what in my posts on Instagram, when I say I have this 2-week meal plan, that's one of my top tips, is take it as a guide, take it as inspiration, and write your own out. What can you do, what can you commit to? And having a shopping list, I put a shopping list with mine, because it's key. Like, you are not going to remember the new ingredients when you walk into the store, and you're just not going to have it, then you're not going to do it, and then you're going to fall into old habits.
Yeah, I have the shopping list too, and the that. But again, it's just like you said, to figure out what's going to work for you, and to me, it's just stop eating. Like if you're over here eating at fast food, that's a whole different story to then doing the home cooking. So it's like to even to just start to do home cooking would be, you know,
Yeah.
the first step.
Just yeah, 100%. Yeah. So our next top tip is your support system in place. Is this something that you say to your clients, do it with your partner, or?
Absolutely, because in the beginning of when I've talked about this before, I was just coaching women, and now we coach couples because you're going to be eating together, you're preparing for the baby together. So let's get your partner on the same page so you guys can go grocery shopping together. And I coach people on that a lot, about actually going to get the groceries. Okay, when are you going? What's going to get in the way of you going? Blah, blah, blah. Like, let's just dig into this. Well, we got to back our whole entire week up to make sure we've gone to get the groceries because, it's Wednesday and we haven't shopped anything. We have no food for lunches. We have no food for breakfast. And then we're going to eat out. So the support piece is huge to get your partner on the same page. Having said that, it's not about dragging someone across the finish line. It's like creating that ripple effect around people around. So if your partner's not totally into cooking and you are, it's really like you leading by example. And then, he or she will come over when they're ready.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or you force them like I did. I just said, if you don't want if you don't want to change your eating habits, you're not having kids because I'm not doing this fucking alone. Like it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you got to do full stop. Exactly. Have a conversation. Like, yeah, it's about a conversation, right? And what's going to work for you.
Yeah, and it's just something that you said there. It's so crazy how as a society we've put meal shopping at one of the end of our to-do list, right? Like, and I'm the same even now. Like, I'm like, man, I gotta go to the grocery store again. This sucks. And it's just like 100 years ago, maybe, that was number one. Like, how am I gonna get food in the house?
Yeah. Feed my family. Yeah.
Right? That was like for millions of years, that was our number one goal, was to eat. And now we're just like, it's just crazy how we've gotten to be like, it's just easy. There's simple, there's easy
We
to
have,
goes, go
yeah.
to places or even go to food in the shopping center that is put way on the back burner, which we both know it should be your number one priority.
Yeah. We've outsourced our cooking
Yeah.
to the fast food industry. And that's
Yeah.
why we're dealing with infertility, cancers, and all sorts of other health issues because we've outsourced it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It'd be interesting to see, like, how we talked about like going like our future or our past selves coming to the future. It'd be interesting to see like someone coming who just had to struggle so hard to get, grow their own food, watch their crops be destroyed, famine, all that, and just look at us how we bitch about
Oh,
having to go to the
yeah.
grocery store to pick up our organic lettuce and our fresh eggs.
And we can't even make it there. There's no
Right.
time. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I know that whole busy thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
where's your priorities?
Yeah, massively. And I go in waves, like there's times where you let life, overwhelm you, and you think, oh, I'll be easy, I'll be convenient. And then 2 weeks later I feel like shit. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I need to get back on this. This does not work.
For me,
But
is that
yeah,
that pain pleasure thing. I'm like, I know it's painful to go to get the groceries, but I will feel so much better when I open that fridge on Monday morning and go, oh, look at all this food. What a great person I am for getting, like, I literally always think of that. I'm like, wow, yay on me. I went freaking shopping. There's food in the house. I'm so happy. Yeah. Because I didn't used to do this. I would be like, fly by the seat of my pants, and I'd shop when I wanted, and there was no food in there. We'd be dialing for takeout, and I didn't care. But yeah, but my health cared, and I felt like garbage.
yeah, yeah. When you first started all your diet changes, did you do meal planning, or what was your kind of go-to?
Again, because I'm not that rigid with the meal planning. I'd rather just literally did I was digging into more of the recipes of what do I eat with the gluten free and dairy free and all that. And back then, like, this was, I don't know how long I've been doing this for, like 9 years. And so there was hardly any stuff online. I'd be like scouring these little horrible cookbooks. Um, and so, yeah, I didn't really do meal planning. It was more, I look for recipes, and I would just have some meats and vegetables and try
Yeah.
to, but I was very into the baking because I wanted sweet things. So I was all about trying to find sweet treats.
Ah, I see. And was your husband on board when you?
He came on probably about 7 months after me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's very supportive, but he must have been eating the same food that I was. But he would go off and eat out at lunch, like eat whatever he wanted at work. But then whatever we ate together, like as a family, he would eat that.
Yeah. And I suppose, that's all you have. Yeah, my husband was the same exact way for a really long time. And it wasn't until he started seeing the benefits that he put more effort into what he ate when he was away from me.
Yeah.
Um, and now yeah, he still kind of just eats like shit when he's away. We were actually flew in from New Zealand yesterday and
Yeah.
we didn't have any food in the house and we drove by KFC and McDonald's and he said, "Oh, should we go to an Old Faithful?" And I was like,
Oh my
"Fuck
God,
off if you
I'm
think I'm gonna
dying.
eat there."
Oh.
I'd rather go home and go to the grocery store and
Yeah.
cook. Yeah, those days for me are long gone. Um, so our third top tip is the desire to want to change.
Hmm.
And I think this is almost kind of number one for me is that you have to want to actually do it, right?
Yeah, like you got to have your, like, what's your intention? Like this coaching 101, right? Like what's your intention, your big why behind why you're doing this? Because in the beginning it could suck. It's hard. Like changing your diet is it's simple but not easy. So getting to that point of like you're just ready to make the change. And there's like that stages of change where it's pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, and then action. So sometimes we move ahead before we're ready. So maybe you're up in the contemplation thing going, okay, yeah, this whole like gluten-free, dairy-free thing, yeah, it kind of makes sense. And then the preparation, oh wait, I'm going to start looking at some meal plans. I'm going to like, when I go shopping, I'm going to start reading labels. And then action, boom, you're ready. So just figure out where you are in that side of things. And if you go ahead too far and if you've like went straight into action but you forgot to prepare, then
Yeah.
that's when you go, this doesn't work, this sucks, that kind of thing. So there's a sort of looking at those stages of change. But yeah, I think the big one for this is your why. We have an easy why. It's because you want to expand your family and have a baby. But then to have that front and center, because it can get, the shit can get real, right? It gets hard.
Yeah, massively. And long. Like the wait is still
Yeah.
long. You know, I think we all have in our brains because of society of these quick fixes that, oh, I just changed my diet, even for 3 months, because that's like the bare minimum recommendation. And then you're not getting pregnant or your IVF fails. Like mine, you know, like I did paleo for a year. Like I should have been pregnant through IVF, right? And it didn't work. And to you know, you can easily just walk away and get super frustrated where you have to remind yourself, okay, I want to do this. I've seen improvements. And for me, luckily, like my or luckily my IVF failed. We got healthy embryos. So we did see an improvement, even though I didn't get pregnant. And just continuing on of like, okay, this is super important. I want this in my life. And this is how I'm going to get it is through diet and lifestyle changes. And you know, I think at some point in my journey it became that desire almost like super intense, you know, of like um almost going off like into the funny farm of diet and
Oh,
lifestyle.
obsession.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, I had to go there because I wasn't, you know, maybe seeing the ultimate goal right away. But yeah, it was like, I've seen improvements. This has some kind of, you know, magic power, if you want to say that.
Mm.
And yeah, just digging deeper. And I'm glad I did because I figured it out. And now I'm not there. You know, I don't eat how I used to eat when I was trying to conceive. I'm not nearly as strict, or I don't even have that kind of same mindset of if I have a nightshade, you know, my body's gonna, you know, flare up and react. And I figured out exactly what my body needs and where I'm at. And I think that desire, though, of wanting to make those changes, um, you know, really helps you achieve your ultimate goal.
Yeah, you have to have the why or the desire, or otherwise you don't know why you're doing all of this hard stuff.
Right.
And yeah, then going into the obsession kind of things too, and being super, it is important that, I guess the obsession is not a good place to be, but knowing the importance, if your body is intolerant to something or sensitive to something, it is important to be vigilant, and to, if you find out that you have an issue with gluten, consuming even a little bit of it can impact your body for weeks, months.
Yeah.
on end. So
I felt like the obsession let me know my body really well. Like it wasn't, I was lucky that it wasn't necessarily harmful. Like I didn't, like it wasn't like an addiction, or I wasn't mentally stressing out about it. I just like was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be really like really, really good at it for a really long time.
just stay the course. Yeah.
and and then I'll reevaluate once my journey is done, and I will see like where I'll go from there. Because at one stage I thought I thought I'll never drink again. I've cut the drinking habit, like I haven't drank for over a year. This is amazing. I feel great. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I still like red wine.
Been
But
there.
yeah, I mean, I like that's just something to say to people, like it's not forever, right?
Mhm.
There's some things that you really do just have to cut out, because like you say, it does affect you for weeks after if you do have a massive intolerance to it. But if you decide after your ultimate goal that you're going to put up with the headaches, the acne, the stomach issues, whatever it is for you, then that's your choice. You can go back into it if you want. And I think too, for me now, like, I don't know if it's for you, but I know that like if I have like a bad week, say if I like did want, a pizza, or like, all this like autoimmune things I'm not supposed to have, I know that the next few weeks or next few months that I can re-heal myself. I know how to take care of myself again, if that makes sense. Do you ever
Yeah.
feel that way?
Yeah. Like for me, it would be like a, we went on holidays. God, I had chips every day. Like just, we went and got bags of chips, and we just like, they're all organic and gluten free, but they're still crap. So we did that, and I probably drank more than I drank every day on this vacation. I'm like, I normally like maybe have one on a weekend, maybe two. I like more in the summer. I did go for, yeah, like probably a year or so too, where I hardly had anything. Or I don't know if I actually tracked it to see if I didn't have anything, but there was like ages where I'd go out and I'd just have a club soda or something.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was, what was the question? I can't remember now.
Like knowing when you knowing that you're eating something that isn't good for you, but now you
Yeah,
have the knowledge because you spent those years, or of being hardcore and knowing what worked and what didn't. So like
yeah,
you get to indulge, and then next week you're like, this is what I need to do. I know I need to have this and this to get
yeah.
my health back.
Yeah, we know how to get it back, and we know that maybe you might not be feeling the best on the week you get back, but you know how to reset it. But then you kind of go back to, is that risk even
Worth it.
worth it to my health? Like, why am I doing this to my body?
Yeah.
Like, and at the end of it, because we were like drinking every day, and I'd only have maybe one or two, but it's enough. And at the end, I'm like on the Friday of like doing there almost all week. My husband's like, okay, we've got one more day of chips and the alcohol, and I'm like, oh damn, I think I'm done. And then I'm like, okay, I had one more. But um, yeah, it is to kind of, it's all about seeing how this stuff impacts your body.
Yeah. Massively. And I think, while you're doing your journey and getting healthy, it's just the perfect time to find your level, right? Experiment. Like, don't worry about what people think about you because you're not having just one drink. I'm kind of sick of this whole like, oh, it's just one time, like, or oh, we cut out all the good things in our lives. And I'm just sitting there going, and I know, like, trust me, I struggled with all this shit, and I probably still do. But why in our head do we think that the good stuff is
Is
good?
garbage. Yeah, the good stuff. Why is that labeled? Why is the pizza, the fries, the KFC, the whatever? That's the good stuff, and we're like suffering over here.
Yeah.
There's no suffering. Like we're
Right.
eating like, I don't know. I've never had such a great diet.
And this is like goes straight into our next top tip, is the way you look at diet changes and the way you look at what you need to change. If you're looking at making these improvements, right? They are improvements. In a negative light, it's never going to work for you. You're always going to be angry, mad, sad, oh, why's me? Because you have to change these things up.
Yeah, like if you think it's going to be hard, it will be hard. If you think it's going to suck, it will suck. But if you go in with an open mind saying, okay, how's this going to be? As you change your diet, if you do an elimination diet, you will feel like garbage in the first 3 or 4 days, but then you start feeling better as the toxins come out. But yeah, it is a mindset thing here. That's why to have your why and to really to really dig into, it's really to see how this impacts your body. And um I think it's very individualized.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, if you can't look at it in a positive light, I kind of like want to say to people, don't do it until you can do that, until
Because
you can kind of say, okay. Or even for me, I got to the point it was like, I'm not that girl. I'm not that girl that can eat normal foods. Let's just say they're normal, unhealthy, healthy, whatever they are, the normal way of life, and get pregnant. That's not me. I tried it for 4 years, tried it with IVF. It wasn't me. So therefore, I have to change things up. And I guess food was the last thing for me. That was my last crazy thing I tried.
yeah, it is kind of to be able to it's like rewriting how it's going to happen for you. And I think sometimes if we're diagnosed and we think the first step is IVF and that's how we think it's going to happen, but maybe if we actually looked at all of these diet and lifestyle and made these changes. And to me, like I've had people, and I talked about this before, like say to me, is there a pill for that? No, like this stuff can be hard, but like it's way cheaper than spending 3 rounds of on IVF, and it costs us 60 grand to look at your diet and look at targeted supplements and things that are looking at your sleep and all these things that matter. Like that stuff is way more beneficial for your body rather than going down the other route. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's hard because I know, like you, for me, everyone around me was getting pregnant on the same exact diet, drinking the same amount of alcohol, eating the same stuff. I didn't have an unhealthy diet or lifestyle. And it's really hard to wrap your brain around that you have to make those choices. Your genetics didn't work out the way their genetics worked
Yeah,
out.
we're all
And,
different.
right? And it's really hard to do that. But yeah, that would be my top tip. For diet and lifestyle changes, to improve your situation. But so this moves on to the language we use about our new diet, our new lifestyle, or even about the food we eat now. This kind of comes from my post that I did a few weeks ago about the fucking McDonald's French fries. And I'm gonna read out. So most of it was really positive, and I was kind of nervous about this post because obviously I feel like the infertility community is very sensitive to their traditions, the way we look at things, and I know that we maybe are radically speaking at the moment about changing diet and lifestyle to improve your chances. But yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised that I would say like 90% of the comments were like, too right, or thank you for saying this, or I was going to have the McDonald's French fries, but I'm rethinking it now. And I only got one true negative comment, which I'll read out in a second. But some of the comments I got, and this is what made me think about the language we use. This is, however, I don't think an odd treat will hurt every now and again. This is a hard journey, and cutting out all the good stuff can sometimes feel like you're punishing yourself. And I do agree. Like, and we talked about this on the pod, when we did the episode about the fries, is that we're not sitting here saying that if you eat one bag of fries, you're going to destroy your chances of getting pregnant. That's not what we're saying. But the good stuff, why the fuck are we calling McDonald's or anything that we know is unhealthy? No, you know what was, no one who had a negative remark on this said they're not unhealthy. They know they're unhealthy.
You know it. Super
right?
size me, like it's been the documentary, it's been proven. We know this stuff is junk. It's easy. It's easy though. It's easy to go in. And you know what? Those fries taste good.
Right?
And the more fries you have, the more you want. You crave them like crazy. I used to eat them all
Um,
the time. They're my favorite.
right. But why are we calling it the good stuff?
Yeah.
Like that, why have we done that as a society, taken some of the worst food for us and called it good stuff? And I know it's highly addictive, and the marketing and the companies have more scientists employed than they do probably like food engineers to
Yeah.
get us wired to eat their shit. But that was really interesting to me that a lot of those comments that were maybe on the negative side were talking about treats and good things, and we're punishing ourselves. Like, what the fuck? You're punishing yourself for not eating shitty food? Like,
Yeah.
I don't like,
That's not, yeah.
that's a
That's
mental thing, right?
no, that's like using food for, like, food is there to nourish us. And so it's using food as a whole other thing, emotional eating or whatever it is, as a reward. And a lot of time, yeah, even as a kid, maybe you were given a reward of like, let's go get an ice cream after you did a good job or whatever it is. So whereas food is just here to nourish us. Um, and having said that, like I will still do treats, but I will do a gluten-free organic treat and I still feel good. So why is that over there, seen as you're punishing yourself, and this journey is hard. And so yeah, you do deserve a treat, but maybe have a dark chocolate organic square. Like it's not about deprivation.
Right?
No one's over here suffering. No.
Or punishing yourself. Like, I
No.
think it's just, and this is why I think both of us feel that the diet and the mental go hand in hand, right?
Absolutely.
Because if you're using that language, or if you're having an outlook of negative, or saying that you're punishing yourself for not eating shitty food, is you have to really start really thinking about what's going on in your brain, and also this kind of highlighted how we've normalized shitty food, right? Like we all know McDonald's is unhealthy, and having it every once in a while isn't going to kill you. But I had this other comment about it's just a bag of fries, it's not a bag of cocaine. And I was like, well, let's just think about it. You want to do a line of cocaine, you're not going to destroy your life, right? Like, it's not going to harm you in a way that you're forever going to be sick or whatever. Your body you'll get the high, your body will recover, and you may or may not want to do it again, right?
Yeah.
And I feel the same way about like all the shitty junk food that the companies out there are so good at getting us addicted to. You're going to do it once, you're going to get a high, you may or may not like it, and then you'll do it again.
Back in. Sugar. We got you. Gluten. Addictive. Yeah, all this stuff that, yeah, that your body craves. And that's why they keep putting the stuff in the foods.
Yeah,
So you'll buy more.
exactly. And it's a crazy fucked up industry. But yeah, so the language that you are using about your new diet and lifestyle, or why you need to make these changes, matters. If you are sat there saying one thing doesn't matter, I would highly assume that you are eating a bunch of other shit too. And I don't understand the mentality of it's a treat. You've just spent, especially if you're doing IVF, you're spending thousands of dollars. And
Tens
if
of
you have
thousands. Yeah.
improved your diet, you're spending thousands of dollars on this new diet. You've put in all the hard work. I don't understand why going to a greasy, shitty fast food place is a treat. Surely, like, go have a shot of tequila. That's a better treat, right? Like,
Agave. There you go.
like if you want something naughty or bad, I mean, I just feel like there's so many other things that you can do that is just as harmful. But our society looks at as that's normal, that's fine, that's just one time, it's not a big deal. But it's the same as any other drug or food. It's if it's highly addictive and if there's a lot of shit in it, then it's just best not to go there.
Like it's been normalized because it's in the grocery store. It must be healthy.
Yeah.
They wouldn't
Right.
sell it to us unless it was healthy.
Yeah.
why would it be on the shelf?
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh,
To vote with our pocketbook.
right. But we'll get down off of our soapboxes now.
Definitely will.
But I hope these 5 top tips have helped you maybe relook if you are thinking about starting a new diet, or if you're doing a new diet right now and just need, a reevaluation of what's going on if you don't feel like it's working. Are they the easiest top tips? Probably not. But if you know us by now, nothing's easy in this journey. So that is us for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you once again, Sarah, for joining us. And we will see you next week, where we're going to talk about the conflicting advice that is out there, even especially between doctors, coaches, and other fertility specialists. See you then. A few more things before you go. If you like what we're doing, please leave a review and/or a rating. We would greatly appreciate it, and it would totally help us out. Also, if you like to connect with either of us, you can find me, Monica, over at mymindfulme.com, and you can connect with Sarah over on fabfertile.com. All the links you need to find us on our websites, our social media, any products we talk about, books, special offers, or any guests that we have on, you're going to find all that information in the show notes. So that's it. Thank you once again for being with us here on the Infertile Diagnosis, and have a beautiful day.